Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther the Third.
Happy Ghostbuster Day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther the Third, and tonight you are here to watch this awesome podcast. And man, I have this wrestler right now that's right next to me here. She is awesome. She is a German wrestler which wrestles on the border of Mexico and Texas. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside return to Miss Kath. Welcome back.
Thank you. Vielen Dank. See, Aki, Miss Cat 6 feet of job brutality.
She's
How
back.
are you?
So it's funny. Me and my dad and I, Papa Panther, we actually interviewed La Katrina, like not that long ago. Yeah. You should try to recruit her to come over by you guys. I think she'd be a hit over there in by Mexico.
Yeah, she once I once wrestled her here in Juarez, I think. Yes, here in Juarez.
Oh, wow. Really? Wow.
Yeah. She came with CMLL. Yeah.
Wow.
And she was here in Juarez, yeah.
maybe you could recruit her back and be like, hey, you can come back to America. Maybe it'll work. So
yeah, I think now she's really fine here in Mexico, no? As she is in the Consejo Mundial de la Lucha Libre, the oldest promotion for wrestling in Mexico, and they have really a very great ladies team, divas team going on there.
Awesome. So what have you been up to since the last time we all hung out?
Ooh, how long is that?
I think it's been like 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, no?
2 years.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Back and we're hanging out.
I think a lot of things happened. I've been wrestling back in my home country in Germany, in Austria as well, in Vienna. And I did some journeys to Costa Rica, to El Salvador, to wrestle there. And then I won this wonderful championship. I don't know if you can see it here.
There. Wow! Oh yeah, I see it.
Yes.
I see it. Yeah. It was funny when you sent me the picture. I didn't know. I'm like, do I put it as the poster or do I put of her? And then I saw you with your in the crown in the queen's seat. So I was like,
yeah.
I think I remember we talked about it when I made the poster. Of course, you're the queen, so we had to put you in there, you know.
Yeah, I really love these pictures as well, and I thought, oh, in the next life I will be queen. I think this is as well a good job.
Queen Kath, you know, the tallest queen ever.
Yes, that's it.
Can't beat that. That's the best part of it. You're the tallest queen ever. That could be the tall queen.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I grew up in Germany and in Europe, and there Princess Diana was the biggest princess of all times, no? And she was a bit taller than Prince Charles, so in the photos they always put her like sitting down.
Oh jeez. Is there any place that you've been wanting to wrestle that you have not been there yet, like a country or like part of the United States that you really wanted to come to? You know what I mean?
I think a lot of places. I mean, I would love to wrestle in Puerto Rico, for example, and I would love to wrestle as well there in the upper states of the United States. I've never been there. And yeah, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, I for wrestling, I just know Texas, New Mexico, and that's it, I think. Yeah.
I definitely would love to see you come to the East Coast because I know there's a lot of wrestling that you need to come over here because there's tons of it over here that it's like insane. Like I go to a promotion in Pennsylvania called PPW, and they're always looking for it's like before I started going there, I would always see videos and pictures about the women's division in PPW being so good. And then when I finally got there, it's like the tumbleweed and the desert. I'm like, where happened to all these women's wrestlers? Title, like all the women's wrestlers just went poof, Thanos style, disappeared.
Oh,
And I'm like, and then I see, I'm like, I think Kat can make this division great again. Make it
I
new.
would love to, yeah.
Yeah. So is there any wrestlers you've been watching like on the scene, like on the YouTube, or like you've seen the videos on Instagram that you want to wrestle that you haven't had an opportunity to wrestle yet?
Oh, a lot of wrestlers, no? I think women are really well, they have been always in, not always, but for some good years in the business. And I think we're getting more, and in the moment I see like very interesting um yeah, dynamics going on, no, in different promotions, and I think this is really great, no, and I think women should be as much in wrestling as men, no, and in the main events, and I think we can really do that.
So, Kat, is there any like match that you would not be like, there's certain matches that people are like, yeah, I'll do it. There's any style wrestling matches that you would not do?
Whew. I think I would do everything.
Mm.
I really I love to go to other places to wrestle, to have new opponents, and I think it's always great to learn, no? And surely there are very strong women. You say, "Oops, if I'm in the ring, who knows what will happen?" No, and though I'm really tall, but yeah, there's a lot of people who definitely have my respect.
So you would be down to, if someone wanted to wrestle you and they wanted to get you in a death match, you would do that too?
Who? I would think about it.
Yeah.
I think I have a long way to go still in let's say standard wrestling, but I really love to watch extreme matches, and I think one day I will be in it as well.
Yeah. Those matches take a lot of courage to do those things, because I've interviewed some deathmatch wrestlers here on Dudes at Ringside, and like the stuff they have told me. There's one girl, I'm not gonna say, I can't, like, I hate to like jump and say names, but she got hit by a light tube, and it got hit down here, and it got her like in a vein down here under your armpit. And an old ECW wrestler was at the show, and all I'm gonna say is he saw the where it happened. The light tube got her with the glass, and he said he didn't want to touch her. They sent her right
Uh,
to the hospital, and he
Ooh.
he was medically trained, and he was like, no, 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 I'm not touching that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of things can happen always, no? And sometimes something is happening that you say, "Oh, it was not the big flip outside of the ring, but oops, it nearly broke my neck." No.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you have any stories from the ring that has happened recently?
um, no, recently I'm really happy not to be injured too
Mm.
much recently. Um, I hope it's good luck or or good discipline. And yeah, lately I've been wrestling a lot in Mexico City, and I'm trying to go there more often. As I see in like in Mexico, I'm really wrestling a lot here in Ciudad Juarez on the northern border of Mexico, southern border of the United States. And though here is a lot of really good schools and 10 like little arenas, traditional little arenas, and a lot of other places where you can wrestle, but it's not so much seen from the rest of Mexico, and Mexico City still is the place to be if you want to make wrestling, no, Mexican wrestling. And so now my plan is to go down there, perhaps like 1 week, a month, and get some training there and get some matches there, meet new opponents in the ring, no, and yeah, get some more experience in the capital of Mexico.
Yeah. So like, is there like anywhere in Texas that you have not been into yet, like Houston or like, and they're like that you want to expand to and go like further into Texas?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going around wherever a Greyhound takes me, no, like to Lubbock, to Amarillo, to Borger. And I have been to Dallas and to Houston, and I would definitely love to get back there and have more matches there. It's really like I like it a lot. There's a lot of wrestling, there's a lot of lucha libre, as there are many paisanos living up in the cities, no? And so they want to see Mexican lucha libre as well. And I think, yeah, those are really interesting places to be.
Yeah, I find it very, very awesome that like within wrestling now, there's so many different styles of wrestling and different styles of people that you can encounter
very
in this
awesome
in
that,
this
like-
wrestling world these days. And like it's hard not to be humble when it comes to wrestling now, you know? Like within wrestling, you could be you could do like you could see a luchador with a mask on. You could see like a man versus a woman in Mexico. You could see a hardcore death match. And then in Texas, there'll be luchadors. There'll be men and women with luchador styles. And then there'll be women like you that are not a luchador that is considered just any style that they want to be. Back in the day, that'd be frowned upon. If you're doing lucha moves and you're not wearing a mask, then you're kind of like called, you're kind of like the pariah. They don't know if you're a lucha, if you're not a lucha, you're just calling yourself hard style. You know what I mean? It's like, it's good to see different styles in wrestling these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, wrestling itself is like a story, an international story, no? I mean, I'm watching a lot of matches from all over the world here with my partner, with my husband Pagano, and as well from Japan. And we recently found out that the idol of Tiger Mask was a German, and
Wow.
we never knew of him. And yeah, and I recently traveled to Borger, and Pagano was just on the internet and said, hey, do you know Stan Hansen is from Borger? And we really love Stan Hansen and his stiff style. And
Wow.
but then I figured out in Borger with the promoter, and he said, no, I think this is just like a fairy tale, perhaps made of himself, of Stan Hansen, that he's from Borger, but nobody ever saw him around. So who knows? Well,
Yeah,
I'm still hoping to meet Stan Hansen one day, but
you'll do it.
I hope so.
I'll keep the good vibes for you, Miss Kath. You're gonna meet Stan Hansen. Trust me, you're gonna have that weird feeling because you're such a good, like the way you wrestle and everything like that. Do like, as I said, men versus women. Have you actually had the opportunity to face a guy in a match, or is it like in the promotion you work for they don't really do intergender wrestling?
Well, well, I'm indie. I'm independent, so I wrestle for a lot of promotions, and I just had the chance last week to have a match against Agent Cold. We had one match like 1 year ago, and now there was a new match, and it was really difficult because he's like a very flirtive guy. He doesn't want to fight. He
Oh,
want to have a date in the ring. But I
oh,
think
you
I could show him that this is about having a match and not a date.
you could be like, okay, I will destroy you. Please stop.
I do.
Literally crush you like a grape, but no, this is not a date. It's funny. I could see you doing that in the match. Like you're telling him no, and he's taking flowers out of his apron. No, takes chocolates out. No. and then you just choke slam him.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
He
No, but
comes to you.
I definitely like intergender matches. I know there's a lot of like discussion going around. No, is this possible, man against women, and that, and might be because I'm so tall, as I'm 6 feet tall. Perhaps so. Sometimes for me, it's like more natural to fight against men, no, than to fight against women who are smaller than me.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that these days there's a lot of male wrestling fans that don't consider women to be like dominant and strong. But I feel that sometimes there's women that are like I explained it to my dad. And my mom understood. My dad was like, well, I'm like, there's some women that are in the wrestling business, kind of like Nia Jax, that will
Yeah,
that you say, okay, you're gonna fight Randy Orton tonight, and the guys are like, oh man, I have to fight her. She would destroy somebody.
yeah, totally. No,
It's like you guys are gotta get like I can't see her winning the world heavyweight title off of like whoever, but
uh,
like is that
yeah,
like
but
sorry.
there are women like Jordan Grace, no, who had her who was seen in WWE. I
Yeah.
mean, just try to get these muscles.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Like you ever
Yeah,
watch her workouts on Instagram? They're
yeah.
insane. Like with it do you have any aspirations to try to get into like Impact or like an AEW, anything like that, Miss Cat?
Uh-huh. Um, I would love to, but I see myself very far from that. I think I have to go down a lot of other independent companies to go to this really big enterprises, no, big promotions.
Yeah. So
And
like
and yeah, perhaps I never know like where it's more easy for me or where people like to see more miscut 6 feet of German brutality. But I think I might have more like I'm more seen now in Mexico than in the United States. But I would definitely love to get more matches in the States to travel around and yeah, get into
so
the wrestling scene there.
so Miss Cat, what is it like to be like a wrestler in like for your training? Like what is your normal schedule like?
Well, we try to go to the gym in the morning. We try to. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but yeah, I have some gym time in the morning, and at night we are at Arena Calaca, a small little independent arena here in Ciudad Juarez, and there we have ring training. And sometimes I'm going over the border to have some training there to get more US wrestling style. Though it's really a lot of styles are mixing here at the border now.
Mm.
And yeah, and lately I had more matches abroad, like in Mexico City. Next week I'm going to Costa Rica,
Wow.
and yeah, if it's up to traveling, then it's sometimes hard to get the normal training, you
Yeah.
should have during the week.
Yeah, I totally get you. So when you're traveling, like you're going to like a Costa Rica, how do you have to like plan accordingly with like the food wise, or before you leave you eat a breakfast and maybe like a small lunch and maybe pack a small dinner because you some restaurants are not all are open when you go to those places. What do you do? Like how do you plan with the food? Like what do you do?
Well, I'm always like a bit special because I'm vegetarian all my life long, and I have been vegan for some time, but now I'm eating, yeah, most animal products, but no meat and no chicken, and and so it's always like a bit tricky to find something, no? And
Yeah.
sometimes there's not a lot of options. And yeah, it's definitely true what you tell, no? A lot of times you're going to events, and when the event is finished, there's nothing open anymore. And so yeah, I try to travel always with some tuna fish, or or any Tupperware, no, of some food. So in the moment of emergency, you just open your suitcase and have
Yeah.
something left to eat.
It's really yeah, that sounds like it's a crazy time to be Cat when you're on the road. Like not every place has like a salad on the menu. And like your case, like you're vegetarian. So like do you have to like plan your like workouts accordingly too? Like do you have to like if you're in a hotel, you have to make sure they have like a treadmill and like a light like workout set, you know what I mean? Like before the day before a show. How are you supposed to work out if you don't have like a gym? You know what I mean?
Uh, Yeah, sure. I'm always looking what's possible, no? And sometimes there's no gym time, or sometimes I just have to work a lot, no? And there's not a lot time left to train, but I always try to be there on the mat, on the ring, and make my moves.
Oh wow. So like what where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years in the wrestling business?
Whew. Oh, I would definitely love to, yeah, to go on to yeah, have my place in this business. And I think I will always be like internationally, no? I mean, I'm a German living on the border of Mexico and the United States, and I think there's no like proper place for me, but like I'm moving around in my real life outside the ring, so I'm trying to move around for wrestling. And I really love to, I mean, I really love to be here in Mexico, and I think it's some kind of struggle to get into all this business, no, as there are a lot of family places, family dynasties, and yeah, it's not really like an open space, no. You really have to struggle hard to get into it, to get your place, and to be respected in the business. And yeah, and on the other hand, so then I love to go to the United States, and I love to go back to Germany to wrestle there, to Austria, and look a bit what's going on in the European wrestling scene, no?
Awesome. So my last question for you, if there was any like American or German like young wrestler just getting into the business that is watching this interview, hey, what's going on? If you're watching it later on or the next day if they're watching this interview and they really want to get kind of some kind of advice about getting into the business, what kind of advice would you have for them?
I think for all the women and girls out there that I hope you want to get into it, just believe in yourself, because I think it's very hard that anybody will believe in you. There's a lot of yeah, competition, and I think we women and girls really have to struggle a lot harder. If we say, "Oh, I want to be a wrestling star," then everybody says, "What? Are you mad? Just do something else, whatever." No, and I think for boys and men, it's so much easier to have this big dream. And I think you really have to have a lot of self-confidence and say, no, I want to go on, and everybody's criticizing me. I have a long way to go, but I will do this, and I believe in me. And yeah, and then they are showing people up and saying, "Oh yeah, I do believe in you too." And a lot of fans will be on your way, you know, and a lot of promoters and as well opponents, no, who respect you and say, "Hey, it's cool to have a fight with you. I'm looking forward to it." And yeah, but I think as a woman, as a girl, you really have to believe in yourself, and sometimes like don't listen and don't watch and just go straight your way.
Awesome. Before we go, Kat, is there any shows you're doing that if any fans are somehow, some reason they're over in Mexico on a vacation and they're looking for a wrestling show? Do you have any shows coming up?
I do have in Mexico City. That's next week, on the 13th. I'm debuting in the very traditional arena Budokan, which is one of the traditional arenas in Mexico City, and it's actually a family-run business, and with a lot of very famous women wrestlers who came out from this arena, and I'm very happy to be there. And yeah, in 2 weeks I will be in Costa Rica. So if you're hanging around at some beautiful beach in Costa Rica, I think on the 6th of April I will be in San Jose. And yeah, where else? And on the 14th of April in Leon, Guanajuato. Where else? And next time in Las Cruces, I think on the 6th of May in
Mm,
Las Cruces, New Mexico.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, Kat, I want to thank you so much for coming back on the podcast. It was so awesome to catch up with you because you're such an awesome person. Also, Kat, if anybody wanted to pick up any merch from you, like how can they find it?
It's best to write me inbox about my Instagram, Miss Kat Lucha, or in Facebook, just Miss Kat. And yeah, I'm looking forward. Oh yeah, and in summer I will be in Vienna and in Berlin. I'm
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, but
that
when
will
you
be
when you come
awesome.
those shows come up, ask the promoter if you could send me the poster. I'll definitely post that on my Instagram
Oh,
story or
great. Yeah.
Instagram for you because you're part of the Dudes at Ringside family, Kat. You've been with it 2 years from me, so like you're part of my family now. I really respect everything you do, Kat, and nothing but the
Thank
best to
you.
you. All the best on your wrestling journey this whole end of 2024. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
And I'm Miss Kat, 6 feet of German brutality.
and we will catch you in the next one.